I really look forward to the restaurant. I just think it's such a beautifully written scene. And to have that conversation with you, with Florian, will be so beautiful. So I look forward to that. But, this last week, I just feel like it was surrounded by dread because they were such painful scenes and we're all just exhausted. The entire crew. I feel like we all, we're living through the chaos of those scenes and torment of them. And, I feel for Florian going through it. I feel for Zen so deeply. And Hugh, like I said, these are very generous people, and generous people bring their hearts so completely to something that, you felt how delicate and fatiguing those days were. So I won't say they were my favorite days, but I will say I'm very happy we've completed them. That's for sure. I think the general public isn't trained to see depression. And certainly in America, we're very much a take a pill culture. So hopefully this continues a conversation around it for each of us individually, for us as we support friends and family, and for us to understand what to look for and how to see that our loved ones are in need, particularly, I think, in parenting. It doesn't have answers. It begins to crack open a continued conversation with empathy in a beautiful way. So I feel very honored to be part of continuing that discussion. When a scene is completed, you'll have a passing moment, with another member of the crew or cast that shares one memory or one truth about their own life, and why a certain scene hit them in a certain way. And it's so impactful because here we are masked up trying to tell the story through this crazy time, and it's so revelatory when you only have a brief moment to connect, maybe more than if we'd had a 2-hour conversation, over a meal, because we get right to it. And I think it's very beautiful how people are really feeling this movie, and so people have been very transparent about their lives. I hope audiences will be moved. I hope audiences will feel kinder towards themselves when it comes to mental health, and more aware of those around them, and the subtlety that the challenge of mental illness takes, the subtlety with which generalized anxiety and clinical depression take. And you see the generalized anxiety at work. You see someone who really needs help and support and has been isolated alone in an apartment in New York City for a year, and maybe not directly exposed to the virus, but witnessing things outside their window they never thought they'd see, and really suffering trauma. And so no matter who we are, that we're compassionate toward our experience in life. I hope that's something that people can take away. It's not, it's about parenting ourselves, not just parenting our own children, and parenting and taking care of each other as a community that's been in suffering, for lifetimes, but particularly now. I'm very moved that Seesaw on this film, our producers, offered counseling and mental health support for all cast and crew as part of this production. And that's starting to grow more and more, but I hope it is adopted by all production. It's really powerful to create a workplace environment where, yes, there is respect and there is, gender and diversity, equity and parity, and all the things that we really want to see in production, and that mental health has an equanimity to all else that we're trying to find in film and television production, but that it is a conversation that needs to be had, and people don't have to hide or bury who they are when they come into their workplace and what their needs are. And it feels essential in a workplace environment, but particularly on a film like this. And perhaps that's why there's been even more openness amongst the crew and cast, because we know it's not a place of closed conversation around mental health. Not only because of the subject of the film, but because the producers are welcoming that kind of support and transparency. So that feels beautiful.